The Indiana Fever are back to prominence. They reached the playoffs the first time since 2016, led by their generational talent, Caitlin Clark. The rookie point guard is the best point guard in the league after winning Rookie of the Year and making first team All WNBA, breaking the assist record, finishing fourth in MVP, and the list can go on and on and on. Shout out to Caitlin for her big season, and shout out to her for transforming this team into a winner. We're going to look at some of the players who will shape this Fever team over the next, let's say, 5 years. With Aaliyah Boston scheduled to become a free agent next season, and she will be locked up to another contract as long as she wants to stay there, the Fever will have some decisions to make. Clark has the star power, but having another co-star like a Kelsey Mitchell, her presence on the floor is undeniable to this roster. These are the projected list that will be protected for the Indiana Fever. Aaliyah Boston, number 1 pick. Caitlin Clark, number 1 pick. Lexi Hall, a wonderful spot-up shooter and somebody that can contribute off the bench or even in the starting lineup. Kelsey Mitchell, who is an unrestricted free agent, and Indiana has plans of bringing her back. Kelly Kroskoff has already said that she wants Mitchell back in a Fever jersey, and it's up to her. As long as Kelsey wants to be there, she'll be on a Fever jersey. And Alyssa Smith, who has been criticized a lot by the Fever fan base, they want her to play better, who I believe is one of the better players in this league, and I believe that she will turn it around on this roster. So it was interesting seeing that she is looking like one of the protected players for this team. Now, maybe they're trying to use her as leverage for trade bait, who knows? But when we speak about Alyssa Smith, she is also a very talented player in her own right, and I believe she's one of the versatile forwards in the league who can contribute to this team, as she already has in the past. And then also the last spot was Timmy Fagbenley, who a lot of people have grown to love over the course of the season. Timmy is a rim-running center who can finish in the paint, and she can defend multiple positions. These are the unprotected list. Grace Berger, who I am grown fond of as a backup point guard in this league. Damaris Doncic, who can shoot and she can stretch the floor. Victoria Saxton, Katie Lou Samuelson, Christy Wallace, and Erica Willer, who is an unrestricted free agent. If you're Indiana, who literally surpassed the expectations by making it to the playoffs, especially seeing where they started from with, I believe, a 1-7 record, and then obviously finishing with a winning record, and then finishing with a top 6 seed in the WNBA, led by their 2 backcourt monsters and Kelsey Mitchell and obviously Caitlin Clark, and having a franchise cornerstone in Aaliyah Boston in the paint, the sky is the limit for this team, and they can be as good as they want. Now, the real issue or the real test is going to come in free agency, because I don't foresee anybody really picking up some of their players. And it's not because their players are bad. It's just that I feel like there are other players that are better suited, especially if you're Golden State. But we are going to see some of these, especially if they're going to keep Alyssa Smith, we're going to see some of these moves being made by Kelly Kroskoff, who says she wants to win and that the timeline has been accelerated. And the fact that this timeline has been accelerated with this generational player, who I believe will eventually win multiple MVPs and who will be the first MVP winner as a guard since Diana Taurasi and Cynthia Cooper. Yeah, they need to make some moves. Kelly Kroskoff understands where this team is headed and what they have in Caitlin, and they want to maximize everything that they can, especially while she's on a rookie deal. I said before the season I thought she'd be the best point guard in the league. Now, after the end of the season, I said that the timeline, before Kelly was hired, President Kelly was hired, I said that this timeline was going to get accelerated because they're going to want to maximize everything that she's doing. So we're going to see a lot of big free agents either try and get dealt to Indiana via trade or swayed by Indiana in free agency. The Fever's future could hinge on this decision, whether they're going to keep Alyssa Smith and or some of these other players on this roster, because they really have to see the right pieces that they can fit around their backcourt and try and make it the best opportunity for them to win moving forward. Caitlin Clark obviously is the face of the franchise, but having players that can play with her and alongside her will be crucial for their development if they want to really take the next step into their franchise's greatness again. Now the question is, If you're losing a floor spacer like Damaris Dantas, can you afford to bring somebody else in that can also do the job? What are your thoughts about this roster and their protected players? Let me know in the chat, who do you believe that they should be returning or, I guess, getting rid of? Who are your thoughts?